some effort for this one. Oh.
Okay.
Right. Good morning from the UK. It's now 10 a.m. or 10:07 precisely. We've now got no viewers, which is a good achievement. And I'm joined today by Johnny. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you very much. How are you doing today, James?
Well, yeah, it's actually a bit bright outside, so there is some sun, which is
Oh, very nice.
not, unwelcome because we don't have a lot of sun lately here, or we haven't had, and it's been, as you know, like last year, I seem to have this perpetual sore throat, which I don't know why, but it was just, one of those things. I did buy a humidifier, as you suggested, and
Did it help?
Mandela Man might have suggested as well, but I think it can help a bit actually with that kind of thing. So, other than that, I wouldn't say it's blue skies all the way outside or anything like that, like Lynch said on his weather reports. But at the same time, it's great weather for wearing shades.
Yes, nice.
These are actually 3D
3D
glasses.
glasses, yeah.
So I'm now seeing everything in 3D
You're seeing 3D
on
now.
the show.
3D. Okay.
This is Ghostbusters 2 in 3D.
Yes, we're only
To
waiting
make a
for
joke
that.
about your avatar now. Before we were live, we were talking about how Ghostbusters 2 is superior to all of the Ghostbusters films. And
And it's time
probably
people.
the greatest film of 1989, in fact.
It's time people see that. Yeah.
Many people need to reassess that movie and
I have.
enjoy it.
There was a conspiracy of just critics at the time who just wanted to shit on it for no reason.
Conspiracy?
And now I'm here to break it open.
I mean, that level of conspiracy is something that I can't even think about. But
well, we don't
I think Ghostbusters 2 at the time was beset by the fact that it came 5 years after the first one, and people were a bit like, why was this not coming out in 1986 or something? This seems a bit late to the party after we've had the real Ghostbusters coming on TV. And we're like, what do you mean the real Ghostbusters?
That was a good show, yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. What? Why don't they look like the actual people in Ghostbusters? I mean, I'm not saying I was like watching it and then start smashing the TV up with an axe or something and then demanding my dad say, Dad, why are they look like the real Ghostbusters? But
yeah.
I don't know, at the time, all I remember is there were things like adverts for real Ghostbusters toys. And in the UK, people were a bit like, these look, I mean, they're not that amazing, but, they had like the twirly,
all you need is the backpack, the gun, the pedal.
They probably had real things, yeah. They're like the...
I had all that stuff growing up. I had the whole...
What, in 1989?
At some point, maybe 1990.
Probably not, or 1990. I mean, that carried on into the 90s, didn't it? The whole real Ghostbusters thing. I think more after Ghostbusters 2 for us, probably, but I honestly can't remember. I mean, there was the whole, at the same time, you've got to bear in mind, there was the Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, as it was called here, because they decided to not call it Ninja Turtles.
Why?
As you know, many UK residents would immediately become fully fledged ninjas due to it being called.
Can you imagine?
I mean, if it was shown as a children's TV show called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, people in this country were so easily persuaded into ninja action.
Yeah.
They had to call it Hero Turtle. Otherwise, there would have been like 5-year-olds doing fully equipped as ninjas, throwing stars at their parents' heads or furniture, etc. And
they must have rewritten dialogue because there's so many times where they talk about themselves being ninja.
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Like the thing with like people I knew, they actually made real throwing stars out of industrial razors that they found in someone's garage.
And now I'm starting to understand your government's point of view now.
No, I mean, how did... So the Teenage Mutant Hero Turtle didn't work, did it?
Exactly. I can see that.
It actually encouraged people to get industrial razor blades and make throwing stars.
So what happened when Power Rangers came around? So when Power Rangers came around, everyone's building like
No,
mecha
I mean,
suits.
honestly, they were throwing these razor blades in the pot,
That is
throwing
scary.
the
You'd
throw
have your eye.
stars, and it just went into a. I think they threw it into like a tree. Somebody immediately saw them doing it and said,
Oh, you know.
what the hell are you doing? Are
Yeah.
these real throws? They're like, no.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. You've
Technically made
put
them,
glue, industrial glue that you found in
Industrial
someone's
shit.
garage, which is like basically just a dump. Like I'm
Mhm.
not talking about like in America, like, hey man, come in my 3-car garage. I'm going to start
Hey,
making throwing stars. Like this is more like some kind of
little
just
shed or
on
something?
a back lane where we live.
Yeah. Okay.
Someone would have a garage that was full of like junk
Yeah.
that their dad had got from his workplace or something or whatever.
Mm.
And then it was all neglected and just covered in cobwebs. And they went in there, just found this stuff, and went, "Okay, we're going to make throw stars." Nobody knows anything about it. There's
Mhm.
some kind of industrial glue in there that they can fasten them together with. When I
Wow.
saw them doing this, I was just like, "This is not a good idea."
I know. It's like it means so many other
It
things you could do.
literally, one of them missed. I mean, literally is my favorite new word now, but
Mm.
it's they literally were
Literally.
throwing one hit missed somebody's head by literally 1 inch or
Okay, no. But yeah, you can literally take an
I'm
eye
not
out
even
easily.
joking.
No, I believe
I just
that.
remember going round and they said, "Do you want to come round and we'll play football in the garden?"
Mhm.
I immediately fell on the floor. One of my knees landed in a dog shit.
Oh.
To be, and then I was going to go home
Mhm.
because this is just off the record now. No one will see this,
Yeah, it
but
is off the
I've mentioned
record
this
now.
before on the show.
Okay.
I got somebody holding a razor blade up to my neck
Oh
saying, "You're
my
not
god.
leaving." And I was like, "Is this normal interaction between people?" And I went and said, "Dad," he was holding a razor blade next to my neck and he said, well, don't go there anymore then. Okay.
My
So I
goodness, yeah.
didn't.
Yeah.
And it was for the best, basically, because there were
Yeah.
people where I lived who would like one of them, his dad gave him a tattoo in his back garden.
Oh, really?
I don't mean
Yeah.
that's the level I was on. My parents, like, my mum was a
Yeah.
teacher, my
Mhm.
dad was head of modern languages. So he was supposed to be like, you know, more in the middle class, I suppose.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
not real middle class, but like it's not like my dad was a bank manager or something. But we were
Mhm.
just easygoing people. But
For sure, yeah.
you don't want to be in that kind of environment where you're near people who dad gave them a tattoo in the back garden.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah.
I don't think that's exactly, and like I would mix with those kind of people when I was about 11, 12, maybe
Oh, shit.
13, something like that. But they
Yeah.
weren't good. They weren't like good friends properly in terms of like interacting with them because it would be like, hey, we're all going to make a film now with a video camera. Who's got a video camera? Well, no
Mhm.
one's got a video camera, but we're still going to do it anyway. It was a bit like Stand By Me kind of interactions where it was
Okay, I see.
just a bit like we wanted to go on adventures, but in reality, obviously, we were not going on a 20-mile journey. We just
Yeah.
do stuff on BMXs and
Mhm.
they were good friends at times, but other times it would just become nuts,
Mhm.
for want of a better word,
I
or
bet.
a bit too sort of you know,
Mhm.
um, where people would just become hostile or
Mhm.
like we went when we went in that pipe, the drainage pipe underneath an actual bypass. Well, we called it a motorway, but it was a bypass, like A38 basically, which is a busy road. But we went under the drainage pipe underneath that and went all the way through it because it was
Oh,
accessible. And it was nothing that amazing, but it was like it just had a trickle of water coming through it, and we could fit through quite easily because we were like 11 or something. And but one of the people started crying when we were doing it because it was
oh,
like
shit.
you just stuck in the middle of the pipe for a little. It goes on for about half a mile or something. So
Yeah, I get
not half a mile,
claustrophobic,
quarter of a mile.
but
But
still.
back then it was. And then everybody decides to have not a mutual, but a mass masturbation session at the end. I mean, that was very Stephen King's It, wasn't it?
That
And I
very
said,
much.
"Oh, I don't want to do this."
Were you the lady there?
Well, I was just like, "This is not. I don't understand what's going on. Why is this?" It wasn't totally normal, was it? Let's be honest. I mean, normal is a bad word, but
Yeah, it's a little out of the
I mean,
ordinary.
young 11-year-olds can do a lot of things, but I don't really think that's a good environment to be in
No.
for an 11-year-old. And yeah, it wasn't that bad. I wouldn't say it was like some kind of massively feral upbringing or anything for me, but at the same time, it was a bit hostile at times
Yeah.
for no reason. But so you still there, John?
Yes, I am.
Oh,
Can
no,
you hear me?
sweet.
Oh, it's
Pardon?
on.
No, it's working now. Sorry.
Okay, perfect. No worries.
Um, it's just I just wanted to make clear that I don't hold Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles responsible for any of that. It's
Yeah.
but or the film Stand By Me
Mm,
or It or
mm,
anything like that. It was just completely organic,
mm.
pre-teen behaviour, which
Oh,
I
that's
don't
for
know.
sure.
Maybe it led up to my liking for Twin Peaks. I don't know, but
It is the butterfly thing, the road too. Yeah.
I mean, Twin Peaks was 1990, so that was when I was just in early teens, basically. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I think many people just like Twin Peaks, and it's not like they had a reason for liking it always. It was just, it was a natural thing because it was just a really good show, wasn't it? So, yeah,
Yeah, for me, I like the whole mystery slash
and it
soap
is.
opera aspect. Very much so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go into just stories about children having wanking sessions and stuff because there's
Those
some
are
kind of
first.
prelude to talking about Twin Peaks. But I mean,
Okay.
it did happen, so
Mm,
it's
mm,
not made up. I mean, with Josh, he talked about him basically almost semi wanking in a school class,
mm.
which is, I think not normal.
No, no, really.
I mean, he later, would actually do mooning on the show where he would display his not his anus, but his butt cheeks, and made a screen cap of that for some reason. And
Yeah.
I don't know why that all happened, to be honest, but it did.
Mm.
I mean, Cameron also made a screen cap of me throwing myself backwards onto a hotel bed 5 years ago.
See, that one I never heard. I mean, I never saw. I just heard of. Yeah.
Well, I deleted the video because I was so
Yeah.
embroiled in the drama of it all. And then people said, "Why did you delete the video?"
Mhm.
And the only saved content of that was on the previous channel.
Yeah, talking about it. Yeah, I remember. I
Well,
saw that.
actually, there was a clip of it. There was a clip of that whole thing as the
Oh,
best of, but
oh, I see.
to an extent. But then that material is all gone now because unless you maybe contact YouTube and start trying to retrieve stuff from a channel that got taken down. But I honestly just think it's not really worth it. We may as well just concentrate on making new videos and
Oh,
not
for sure. Yeah.
fixate on the past either because I was in a hotel in Ipswich during that, and first of all, when I was there was somebody throwing forks into a container next to my room,
Oh shit.
and it was coming through the air then. And I said, "This is a good hotel. Why has this happened?"
Hmm.
I went downstairs and complained about it. Then the woman who was doing it, who was black, came down at that exact point, and it made me look like I had some kind of racial complaint. Which,
So, yeah.
but she was responsible for high velocity throwing of
Well,
forks and knives into a box
oh, I see.
next to my room, but she was in basically a cleaner's cupboard.
Uh-huh.
So I wasn't complaining about that specifically. I just said I don't know where this noise is coming from, and I'm trying to relax.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
Yeah.
not like I always go out with headphones, I mean, with
Yeah.
earplugs or something everywhere, but that would be an option maybe. But when you're paying for a room that's supposed to be quite good and stuff,
Sure.
You wouldn't expect that noise, would you? And they did make a
note of it.
They did say sorry about that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how any of this relates to anything to do with Twin Peaks, but yeah, that would have been 2019. So it's getting on for 5-6 years ago now. So you'd think I would have kind of got over that, but I haven't.
To this day, yeah.
Really, I mean, it's still quite disturbing to me.
Whenever you deal with you're a fork, that's it.
No, I mean, I just think about the interactions we had on the videos. And I met Kevin in Ipswich. Kevin had his own band, Flames of the Lizard Birds.
Oh, nice.
And for some reason, Kevin said that I found the worst kebab in Ipswich, and I was having it before the gig. But even though there's a really good kebab shop near there, apparently, that he told me about after the fact.
Oh, after the fact, yeah.
I went up these like busy roads and everything. It was, and then I did the video on another day or something, and I think I was just a bit tired.
Yeah.
And it was just too much doing the combination of being in a hotel and then doing a live video with Jamie on, Josh on.
I see.
And Josh would do these things where he would just leave the video without saying anything.
Yeah,
and that's what's caused me to go into some kind of possible psychogenic fugue, or I don't know what happened, but I just seemed to go into some kind of weird. I don't know. It wasn't a panic attack, but it was more like, why has my hotel got also a shower and a bath?
Wow,
it was like, so I sort of understood how people are very, I don't know, sort of famous actors or maybe a singer or something like that, how they would feel living their life. And
I see. So you're just typically acting. What would Axl Rose do basically back in the 80s in a hotel?
Maybe more like someone like Mick Hucknall from Simply Red, or not Bono, but
no,
you probably don't know who Mick Hucknall is, but
I'll tell you who. No, actually, I don't.
Well, no, or like, I don't know, not Morrissey maybe, but just sort of some like kind of B-list actor in a hotel in Ipswich in the UK making a film there. And then they go out and they have the worst possible kebab in Ipswich. Then they watch Kevin's band for a while. Then they decide, okay, I've got to go home now. I've got to go back to the hotel because I'm tired. And because I'd already watched like the support band. Then I think, oh, Kevin probably thinks that I'm not into his band so much because I left all the way through. But the thing is, before his band appeared on stage, I came on and said, "Can everybody support Queen of Hearts?"
Oh, come on, no way! You probably have no idea what you're talking about.
Queen of Hearts, and they were like,
"This is just throwing food at you." Yeah.
Well, no, it was sort of like, I don't know. Kevin says, I couldn't believe he came to Ipswich. But, and I was just like, well, I did.
You couldn't believe it.
I mean, I went out with Kevin on one day and we went into sort of this area called Woodbridge, which, strangely enough, they've actually got a transcendental meditation centre in that area.
Really?
Like a golden globe or whatever you call it. A sort of golden Maharishi centre. And it's quite, probably a good place to visit if you're into all of that. I'm not trying to get anyone into transcendental meditation or trying to promote it.
It sounds like you're trying to.
I'm not. It's not a religious thing either, as they say. It's more to do with just sitting for 20 minutes or 10 minutes if you want, You can do it. No, but seriously, you can do that kind of thing like meditation, whether it's Buddhist meditation or whatever, say if you're sitting on a bus or something, and it's a good way. Like I've seen people get on a bus and they immediately start taking, mood stabilizers and things like this. Seriously. And that's, surely you don't need that just to get on a bus, do you? Really?
No,
at one point I was prescribed diazepam, and it just, I don't think it did me any real benefits. Maybe briefly, but
maybe you never know.
But yeah, it's just taking it consecutively. I think it's like anything. If you carry on, say, "Oh, I've got to have a drink before I do anything," of like,
yeah,
I've got, you become addicted to Shandy Bass or something, and then that could be a real slippery slope. Next thing you're in a shopping centre with just your trousers around your ankles and anything. I mean, that nearly happened yesterday, and my sister said, "Can you act normal, please?" And I said, "No."
Oh my god! No. At least you answered it honestly.
I mean, my nephew is 10 now, so
You appreciate the
she says, "Do you want all of Sam's friends?" Or I shouldn't mention your name, but do you want all of your nephew's friends thinking you were like deranged or something? And I said, yes.
You're deranged or something. Oh my god.
She literally didn't say that, literally. She said, I said, what about that time when I locked myself out of my flat and I only had boxer shorts on? And they were like quite a close fitting one. And then I had to walk sort of like a quarter of a mile down to get my spare keys from somewhere, basically. She said that was not God, but the combination of factors meant that was at school leaving time. So there could have been school children witnessing you just in orange, tight fitting boxer shorts, just wandering around. And
just water famously.
This is like going from there to your parents, basically, where they've got a spare key hidden somewhere in the garden, in a box, like Hellraiser or something.
You have to give away the position.
But I have to get the box out of this. Something that's got 50 locks on it.
There's a huge rock that falls and boulder that falls behind you,
and then you get the box out. And it's just got a spare key, basically. That's it.
Yeah.
But to open it, you have to open the Hellraiser type box, and then some chains come out with a fish hook on it, which attach
to your balls,
attach inside your anus, and also onto your end of your bell on your penis. The school children just walking past, witnessing this.
Oh, come on! Why?
Oh, James is just having another one of his episodes, and my dad's like, "Jesus Christ!"
Another episode. All that they get the spare key, right? That's what you gotta go.
This is at the same time as this place is having imminent flooding. The brook's full, flooded. James naked in the back garden with a chain attached to his penis.
It turns out it's all in your head. When you actually get in the key, it's just right there. You're going through all this elaborate shit. Oh my god!
No, it's actually in my head, yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm holding a Spectrum 48K.
Yes, exactly.
With the joystick inserted into my anal cavity.
Oh my god.
So is it in my head, Johnny? And then you just have to turn to the camera and say, the imaginary camera. I'm filming all this on my phone or something. Yes. And I turn to the phone and say, this is not real. Or is it?
Yeah.
And my dad's like slamming the phone on the floor and stamping on it. You're a grown man. This does not know behavior.
Yeah.
Like a scene from Silver Linings Playbook where everybody in the whole film is bipolar, including the dog.
Including the dog, okay.
Yeah, there's a dog in it which is bipolar. No, like Bradley Cooper's character is bipolar. Jennifer Lawrence is bipolar. Robert De Niro is bipolar. His wife is bipolar. Then other people related to Jennifer Lawrence in it are definitely everyone's bipolar. Which they overcome by entering a dancing competition.
That's the final conflict or whatever.
I would recommend that actually. Just if you have any bipolar type symptoms, enter a dancing competition with Jennifer Lawrence.
Yes, I agree. Actually, yeah. Yeah, one or the other.
I don't want to be sexist or anything. I mean, that's genuinely. I actually like that film.
Which
if you've
one?
not seen it, it's
which one?
Silver Linings Playbook.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking like Flashdance or something. Okay.
No. This Silver Linings Playbook is from. It's about 10 years old or so. And
no, I haven't seen it. No.
The characters in it are supposed to genuinely have symptoms of different things, and like Jennifer Lawrence's character had a kind of depression problem, and then she was sleeping with different people in the office until the point where it was like she was getting into lesbian with people in the office. At the same time, she just didn't know what the hell she was doing, basically. And Bradley Cooper's character assaults somebody who was sleeping with his wife, who he discovers in the shower with his wife.
Oh shit!
And he can't believe it, like that she's doing this, but then he reacts like violently and
As
has
one
to
would.
go to some kind of rehab, and he's made he can't go within certain meters of his wife and all this kind of thing.
A restraining order, yeah.
Yeah, it's got like kind of dramatic aspects to the film, but it's so honestly I do recommend it. It's Robert De Niro is good in it as well because his character's more like probably you would say OCD rather than bipolar, but it's a mixture of all these things because I think there can be an overlap. Like he's OCD to the point where it becomes, um, like overwhelming. Like he's into football matches. It's American football. I don't know if it's American football or baseball or whatever, but anyway, I think it's American football.
Yeah.
And he has to have like the remote control lined up in a certain way and just a handkerchief there, something else like some kind of medal or all sorts of different things like that. And then he attaches meaning to his son being around, played by Bradley Cooper, specifically at certain times of the matches, as if he's some kind of lucky mascot, which then obviously impacts on his son, who's like similar perhaps to a degree, but
wow.
It's just kind of OCD behavior where also his son, Bradley Cooper, is sort of like bipolar OCD, whatever you want to call it. It's a combination of these things. And he wants to find his wedding video in the middle of the night, which is like one of these overwhelming sort of, I don't know, just like attaching great meaning to something, which is really, you just think, after the fact, you might think, well, I don't know why I was doing that. That's just
No, I get that.
sort of. But I think anybody can be like this to a degree.
Yeah,
It's just
for sure.
it's to the extent of it. And the trouble is, he persists to the extent that his father hits him and they're in the lot, and they like start fighting, and his mother's like, "Will you just stop this now?" And then suddenly a window gets broken, and then they're like, "We're going to phone the police." To stop the son doing what he's doing, like going crazy trying to find. Well, he's not crazy, just obsessive, trying to find this wedding video. And then the like local police just arrive, and they're like, "What's happening?" It's like, "Oh, it's nothing." And then there's a guy, a younger guy comes from across the street and says, "Can I film all of this?"
Oh my god, what the fuck?
I want to make I want to make kind of like a live stream video or a documentary about mental health conditions and things. And Robert De Niro's character sort of like, "Will you just get the hell out of here?" Like,
yeah.
Just can you stop doing this, please? And this is before probably, that obsession with YouTubing everything and live streaming everything became just common. Now it's like completely normal.
Yeah.
To go down the street and start filming everything and saying, "Okay, I'm now live streaming something." Which, like, to attach back to Twin Peaks, we probably should talk a bit more about Twin Peaks before we finish the video in 4 hours,
Yeah.
or in half an hour maybe max. But because we're at completely different times now. Like here, it's 10:30 in the morning. For you, it's now 5:30 in the morning or so, right?
Yes.
Not that it's completely out of sync with each other. I think it's more like with you're in Canada, it's more in sync than doing, ones with Americans and stuff. But not that I'm not saying I have anything against Americans, of course, but well, I think what I'm talking about, like with the what was I connecting it to? Yeah, when they made Twin Peaks: The Return. This
Yes.
is something that Cameron made me more aware of. There was this thing called, what was it? Not parachute. I don't know. It was either some app or whatever that allowed you to film things live, and then stream it. But
Yeah, sounds
just
familiar.
the
I
same
never.
as anything, really, I suppose.
Yeah,
Was it
yeah.
parachute or something? And they did. People were doing that when they were filming the first scenes they shot at the Palmer
Oh,
House, so called, which or
oh,
one
wow.
of the Palmer Houses, of course, the
Hmm.
one in Everett, which is more the Palmer House from Fire Walk with Me. The one in the show is different.
Is there a reason why they
It's
did
a
that?
different one.
They didn't just keep it the same, or
I think basically the one that they used in the show wasn't available for Fire Walk with Me, so they just went, okay, we'll just use the Everett one because
okay, that makes sense. Okay.
the Everett one was the one they used for the interiors in the pilot, but they didn't
Hmm.
show it as an exterior in the pilot.
Hmm.
They only showed it as an exterior in Fire Walk with Me when they showed the outside of Lloyd's house, and people were like, "This doesn't look like the same house as in the show. This is on a street where it's in the show. It's like more like set back. It seems like a
It was more secluded,
location
like
that's
yeah, it looked more secluded.
yeah. It's got a big tree in front of it, a bit like almost Amityville Horror, but
Yeah.
not that, but secluded and a bit more sort of Twin Peaks feel. Like the
Hmm.
thing with Fire Water Me is it felt a bit more sort of in, I don't know, an autumnal Twin Peaks. Like it just doesn't
Yeah.
look like February at all.
Well, for
Like the
me, the
trees
biggest
look like they're
issue,
fairly orange, And
I wish Hawk would have been in Fire Walk with Me in some sort of way. That's the biggest issue I've got.
yeah, I mean, he was in the deleted scenes, but
Yeah, but
uh,
like
the
the
one
actual
in the show station, which seemed almost, it just seemed like they filmed. I think they filmed on the old set
it
for
looked,
that,
yeah,
the same
yeah.
as they did with the Hayward House. That was a set, but the set didn't look the same as in the show at all. It was just
Oh
like
no.
as if it hadn't had all the pictures put up and things, which was a bit of a bizarre
Hmm.
choice by Lynch. But I mean, things like that with or the set design, like with in Fire Walk with Me, they have a different photo of Laura in the that thing, but they don't really have them so much in schools here, I suppose. But
In the glass, behind
display
the glass.
cabinet.
Yeah.
It's actually a different photo of Cheryl Lee from when she was in high school.
Yeah.
So
Oh, really? Oh,
Cameron
wow.
pointed that out to me, and I was like, "What? That's
That's pretty
bizarre."
cool. Yeah.
But
It's
it's like
bringing
it
in
just
real
showed
life.
the amount of attention to detail that Lynch sort of had,
Yeah.
and not just him, but his set design and
Hmm.
department. Like, why have we got a different picture of Laura? That's obviously a deliberate choice, but it's sort of Firewalk with Me gives you a kind of different angle on everything. I think more than
That I do agree. Almost like brutal angle. Like it just like
so to a degree, yeah. It's like
takes the
I mean,
blinders off.
especially when you look at the deleted scenes, like those bits with Leyland with the axe behind him and he's just sort of ran. It's like as if he's brought it out of the garage, attached to this piece of plywood, and just
Yeah,
dumped
yeah.
it next to the. It doesn't make any sense. It's like what's happening here? This is almost
Mm.
like the Bob side of Leyland just coming out, and then
Just doing
but
stuff. Yeah.
they should have had bits of that in the final cut, in my opinion, but not the whole scene, but bits.
Yeah.
And I think Lynch wanted, he said that he could have done a final cut of Firework with Me that would be a bit different. But it was just the time, whether they had the time to do it or not.
No.
And what's funny about Firework with Me, there are definitely a few bits and pieces of scenes that we've never seen, basically.
Mm.
The whole train car scene was a bit different, but then Lynch sort of introduced more of the angels idea. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's possibly a little bit more violent in terms of some of the shots, but I
Mm.
don't know how much is true or not.
Mm.
The way the thing that Cameron has often mentioned is the red rose being by the side of where James, you know,
Yeah.
sort of roars off from Laura,
Oh, was
and
there? I didn't
there's
realize.
supposed to be a red rose by the side there where that Doc Hayward had somehow dropped out this car because he shows a red rose early, doesn't it, in the deleted scene?
Oh, true. Okay, now I remember.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
with Laura. I don't know. Does he actually show a red rose, or is it just? But I think he does show one. And it's something to do with. It's connected also to them eating like blueberry muffins or something, and that's why Laura says, "I am the muffin." The whole meaning of the muffin and all that means
she is the sex goddess. No, I'm kidding.
it's
I,
something. I don't know.
you know
It
what I
means
mean? I
just
always
like
saw it as
I'm
more
being.
sexual. Like that's how I always saw it, more of a sexual thing.
There is an aspect of that, definitely. I think, yeah, because it's repeated by Jacques Renault.
Yeah.
He says, "I am the muffin" as well, but it's yeah. I don't honestly know the meaning of all that fully, but I would say it's partly connected to a bit like with cherry pie and the fact that blueberry muffins have they've got the blueberry in them, and it's like this kind of very it's like a life antioxidant life giving thing. Like Laura is very alive, isn't she? Very, but
Yes.
then there's the thing in the series where Dr. Jacoby says, or maybe Laura let herself be killed,
Mm.
and some pretty disturbing stuff in Twin Peaks, but or
Yeah.
perturbing is the word
Mhm.
to think about. But it's like that in the Fire Walk with Me, final scene in the train car, which me and Cameron we actually made a video about the sexiest moments in Twin Peaks,
Oh, come on.
and the train car scene in Fire Walk with Me was number one.
That is
I'm
what?
pretty sure that Big Cameron doesn't have that video now available, but we did
Yeah.
it. I'm not joking.
Oh my god. And you're both
I mean,
like,
some people at the time were like, "What are you? This video is ridiculous."
yeah. What the fuck?
But
What are you
that was
thinking?
the point of it,
Mm.
It's, I mean, you see, the thing is with the Ronette vision of the train car scene in the show, in the start of season two,
Yeah.
at the end of the 90-minute opener and everything, it's like a different view of what happened. And then in If I Walk With Me, it was strange because it almost seemed like, well, we've seen all this before, but it's not exactly the same, is it? It's Leyland like positions a mirror beneath Laura, and then she sees Bob in the mirror,
Hmm.
which is quite strange. And
Well,
that's all about him wanting Bob to possess Laura, and
yeah.
for want of a better word, but she denies that though. She doesn't want Bob near her, basically, or
Yeah.
inside her, certainly. And whereas Leyland has let Bob inside him, whereas Laura defeats that by putting the alcove ring on, and she, you know, I think that's the general idea, basically. Taking the alcove ring though is like almost ambivalent because there's this Cooper saying, "Don't take the ring, Laura. Don't take the ring,"
Yeah.
because
And
he
I've always
thinks
sided with
he
that.
see,
Yeah.
but he sees it as a bad thing. But
Mhm.
that's actually a mistake on Cooper's part. He thinks that
I would have to
Laura
disagree
shouldn't.
with you on that. Because I think the ring just bounds her to the lodge. But she could have still
Yeah, but what's
rejected
the
Bob
alternative?
and not take the ring, I think. Or it is
Well,
almost like a
what
self.
would not taking the ring result in? That would result in her being possessed by Bob.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're right. It's like a catch-22
So
almost.
it's like between a rock and a hard place for Laura,
Yeah,
I think.
you're absolutely
And it
right.
also attaches to the ring. The whole ring thing is for Lynch, I think, like there's a lot of reference back to June in Fire Walk with Me to a degree. Not
Mm,
like a reference as in, hey, look, this happened in June as well. But he's using imagery, like the hand like this.
that's awesome. Yeah.
You see Laura's hand like that in Fire Walk with Me.
Hmm.
And it's the same thing as in June. And then we learn about how the ring finger is the spiritual mound. So if
Yes.
she takes the ring, she goes into the spirit world of the Black Lodge, which, yeah, she is trapped within that. But the Black Lodge is sort of, basically it's also the White Lodge, isn't it? It's the same thing. They're both
Hmm.
different sides of the same coin. And the fact that she's then, seeing her own angel and all that kind of thing. And the woman who played the angel, or one of them, there are two different angels in Firewall with Me, one with darker hair and one with lighter hair.
Mm.
And there's one in the train car, and then there's the one in the Black Lodge. And that idea came from Phoebe Augustine, who played Ronette more.
Oh,
She
wow.
saw that paintings they had, the painting they had, which was a real painting they just found
Mhm.
in a, I think somewhere just local to the whole real Twin Peaks, area. They did
Yeah,
the same thing with the Return. They would, yeah, I don't mean to keep talking all the time, but they bought
I was just
loads
gonna
and
say
loads of
even,
like,
the Picnic at Hanging Rock even had a couple of those angel pictures on their wall too. Very similar
yeah,
drawing.
yeah. They definitely like a lot of fans are like, how do we find this exact one and things like that? And
Yeah.
I mean, you probably could find it if you really looked, but it's just something that was made like in,
It
it
must
could
have
have
been
been like 1900 or,
yeah, certain artists 'cause it
yeah.
looks like a certain type of when you see it, it looks like you're like, "Okay, that type of art," it looks like, almost similar.
It looks a bit religious, obviously, but it's
Yeah,
sort of almost just this
but
kind of
almost not.
chocolate box
Yeah, exactly.
container type, a bit. Some people would say it's a bit corny and like, but on the other hand, I don't think it's
I don't see
supposed
it
to
as
be
a
corny in Fire
no,
Walk with Me. It's supposed to
no.
be Laura looks to it and then she sees the angel missing, which obviously they did through, effects, but I think
Yeah,
they actually removed it from the painting somehow, and then, it
yeah.
wasn't CGI back then. But
You can airbrush stuff, but still. Just the
yeah,
idea of it
yeah, and it
fading
was
within their world. It was a great I love anything to do with paintings and
yeah, it wasn't like that was actually created for the film. They
mhm,
just found it in a local
very cool.
um,
How
antique
that stuff
centre or something, and they did the same
yeah,
thing with making the return. They bought a lot of things from local antique type places or whatever, in around Snoqualmie or North Bend, etc., and then used them. I mean, here and there, especially in the scene with Audrey and Charlie, though, you could tell in that they had a lot of different things.
yeah, yeah.
And Charlie says, I don't have a crystal ball.
Well, he
And
says
then
it.
on his desk, there
Yeah,
is a ball,
well,
which is basically a crystal ball. I think it's actually a paperweight, but
yeah, yeah.
it's just, and then there's so many books in there. It's like, where are all these books come from? Like, why has Charlie got all these books?
I know,
And
I
then,
try to
like,
look
a
at
lot of them were
every cover of
poetry
them.
and stuff.
Yeah.
You've looked at every cover.
Well, I've tried to, like, whenever I focus, like, whenever the scene's on, I'm looking, like, in the background, I'm, like, just scanning just to see if
Well, the
anything
thing
that
is, it's like there are a lot of things in there like that could probably even go more with Mark Frost to some extent. I mean, I don't think that Lynch was not involved in all that, but it's like
well, remember in Fire Walk with
in
Me, the scene
Ruth
with
Davenport's
yeah.
apartment as well. That's one to look for as well.
I was gonna say, in the Fire Walk with Me when, David Bowie appears, on Cole's desk, there's
Yeah.
a book, and I've tried so hard to see what book he's reading. That's always been something I've tried to see what book is
Um,
on his desk.
yeah, I don't know. I remember you mentioning that before
Yeah,
actually, but
yeah,
I'd say like even in Harold's place, for instance, if you put Fire with Me,
that's true,
where
yeah.
Harold lives looks quite different to in the show, and it's
Yes,
sort of
yeah, yeah.
it's not really an example of like, okay, we've not got enough time to do this, so therefore we're going to just, you know, make a bad version. It's more
Mhm.
just like, okay, this is a different side of Harold's apartment, because we can't create the whole thing
Yeah, yeah.
again, because maybe that set wasn't available anymore, or
Mhm.
maybe it had been dismantled or something, because it was pretty, the sets in Twin Peaks were some of the most complete sets you'd ever had. Like they built the
Yeah,
ceiling in, which was in many
very
shows they didn't have ceilings in the set.
mhm.
They just filmed the main house and things or whatever, and then walls.
Yeah.
Whereas in Twin Peaks, you had the full ceiling, and then in like Harold's apartment, you had the room where you put plants that was obviously heated and
Yeah, yeah.
etc. You know,
Uh-huh.
it looked like a proper place, didn't it? Like a
Ye
proper
yeah, it did.
like downstairs of a house or wherever, and then maybe the Tremans lived nearby or the
Mhm.
child, whatever. And then in Fire Walk with Me, there's no mention of any of that, is there? Really, it's just
Mhm.
the Tremans are living, or the Chalfonts are living in the same area, uh, maybe, but not. No, it's not the same area at all. It's actually Deer Meadow. Sorry, yeah,
Yeah, it's completely different,
they're
right?
living in a trailer.
Yeah.
So I think the idea is generally they're travelling around, and so it's sort of
Yeah, they're almost like, what do you call those magician travelers or
yeah, there is that aspect definitely, and there's you know John Milton, the writer and poet, he
Mhm.
wrote Paradise Lost in Chalfont St Giles. I mean, I don't know.
Wow.
I think basically the idea is with the Tremans, they would imitate other people, and so it's this doubling idea
Yes.
in part.
Oh, wow,
So there is
okay,
that
yeah.
magician aspect, but it's to do with like Leyland is traveling around as part of his whole double life, basically.
Mhm.
In that he says, "Oh, you look like my daughter." About looking at the picture of Teresa. To me, I didn't think she looked anything like Laura, really, but he
No.
thought that.
Yeah.
I mean, Leyland was sort of, you could identify with him to an extent, even, I would say.
Mhm, to an extent, yeah.
Um, in the show, not so much in Firewater Me, maybe.
No, the
But,
movie is pretty
uh,
it's pretty intense in the movie.
no, but I mean, people pointed out, like, where in Firewater Me, where he hits Teresa over the back of the head with whatever he hits her with,
Yeah.
he, on the floor, you can see the same rug that Cooper is lying on when he's shot.
Oh, wow.
So, because the idea is that he hit her over the head and then smashed the TV in that trailer, which is the one where Chet Desmond gets the ring underneath it.
Yes, yeah.
Because Leyland would have put that ring under there. And it's like, why is there this sort of specific trailer
Mhm.
with the light on still and all that? And then it's got like gold on it as well. It's got like a gold gas tank at the end and things painted. That was
Mm.
all painted for the film, I think,
Oh, wow.
definitely.
Yeah.
And this whole gold thing with Lynch and stuff, yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, gold
gold
is
gold is
the
purity,
perfect
right?
way of transmitting electricity, isn't it? So
Yeah, there's like a purity to it or something. It's used in all electronics
it,
and all that. Computers have it.
yeah, but then, it's like, why does Leyland smash the TV, for instance?
Hmm, good
It's
question.
because he doesn't want he doesn't want to be seen. There's that aspect, the idea of the TV is revealing to us everything that happens in the original Twin Peaks, isn't it? We're watching it through the TV.
That's true, yeah,
And
yeah.
so it's almost like Leyland is destroying the TV show. So therefore, none of the stuff happened where he was revealed as the killer, in my opinion, to a degree.
Hmm.
And bear in mind that Lynch never wanted the killer to be revealed. So
Yeah.
I mean, certainly up to the second season, how long it would have gone on, I don't know. But
Yeah, he would might have gone on indefinitely. I'm kinda glad we found out because we might have never known.
I am more. I'm more with probably Frost in terms of
You
like
gotta
you've got to reveal it at some point. Maybe it
yeah.
was a bit too early, but
That I
and they
agree
could have
was a bit too
maybe
early, but yeah, they had to do it.
they could have involved Windham more in earlier episodes, and so it would have overlapped with
Yes, kind of a pre,
like two antagonists or
yep,
something, and made the whole thing fit together better.
a little better, yeah.
But I do think the whole Leyland thing was so you know was really well done in the show overall,
Yeah,
and in Fire Water Me. But it's I suppose there's always going to be that debate about the second season where it was like it felt like it was spinning its wheels a bit.
for those 4 or
Uh,
5 episodes, yeah. It
well,
was a
it felt like longer actually in some
yeah, you're
ways.
right.
I think
Mhm,
bringing in Windham like too slowly was one of the problems.
mhm.
Um, in terms of then they had all these other storylines that just seemed a bit, the mayor coming in with the gun into the actual sheriff station seemed a bit
Yes, yeah.
far fetched to say the least. You know, it didn't fit in with the overall tone of Twin Peaks, did it? It just seemed like why was everyone obsessed with this?
I know.
I can't, Lana Budding Milford and everything as if she was like a goddess,
I know.
and it was ridiculous. Like with Andy coming up with quite warm milk to give to her and stuff. And then even Cooper was besotted with it
Yeah.
to the point that they just totally ignored that this man's there with a live
A shotgun,
shotgun
right? I know.
that could have
Loaded
blown
shotgun.
anyone's head off at any moment. It was
I
just
know.
this like Twin Peaks just became like any other show on TV. Like,
Mm.
so it felt a bit. it felt a bit like comical, but it still had a Twin Peaks thing to it, which sort of in the end
redeemed it. Yeah,
it just made it was still very watchable, especially when you go back and you see it like remastered and everything. It's still Twin Peaks at the end of the day. It's
for
just
sure.
you had to realize that they had to have these reasons for why Cooper would stay in the town.
Yeah.
The main reason initially was the Dead Dog Farm stuff, basically, which I actually thought was quite good. Because it was filmed in a real location and everything in California, the Dead Dog Farm stuff. It's not there now, apparently, but I thought, is this a set at one point? In some scene, like it looked like a kind of outdoor set.
Yeah.
Somehow, but it's not. It's just the lighting they used or whatever. It's a real location. And then
You're talking
Cooper
about when they
goes
have
there
that
and he's got
shootout with Jean Renault or whatever.
yeah, but that looks more genuine, like a real location in those scenes. It's kind of got a bluey look to it, and sort of the flashing lights outside, obviously like the police and stuff. But then I'm talking about the initial scene where he meets that woman who looks like she's out of Northern Exposure.
Yes,
and she's sort of she's in this big, tartan almost like outfit, like Andy and Lucy did that tartan fashion show.
Oh yeah.
Those moments, and it's just Cooper's like, okay, I'm interested in buying a house here randomly. Like he's been here like 2 weeks now, and he's just deciding all of a sudden I'm going to invest in property.
Twin Peaks is a beautiful place to live, my friend. You'd want to too. Okay, the cherry pies.
Everything great is happening there.
Yeah.
Like Jean Renault is like, you bought the nightmare here.
You were the nightmare. I know.
Cooper's like, this is a definite good place to live. What's it called? Dead Dog Farm.
Oh, it's got a ring to it.
Fantastic.
It's got a nice little ring to it.
I've got a little ring here for you.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing, Cooper? This doesn't make any sense. It's like everything. I'm off camera now, but you can still hear me.
You can barely hear you, but yeah.
Yeah, it's me in the background. You're like, just James, never stop talking. No.
No.
This is James's online talking masturbatory coffee time.
Yes, that's a good name for it.
And also, just to make this one of the best videos ever made. Has anyone ever seen this film?
Let's see. Oh yes, there's a classic on VHS too. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not got any cassette in it. I don't know where it's gone.
No.
Smell that old video shop smell.
1980s. Oh yeah.
It's not only got a very mild smell to it, to be honest. I'll have to get the videotape out of the actual video recorder.
Yeah.
But a lot of trouble with those tapes nowadays is that they've got what do you call it, like mildew or mold in them.
And they got to be fading too, right? Because every time you watch it, the first time you watch it is the best.
Definitely.
The best viewing experience. Every time after the first watch is degraded experiences.
Well, just connecting of a VHS or even if it's a VHS Blu-ray player or whatever you've got, to a actual. I mean, you're not going to have a Blu-ray video player combination. That's probably pretty unlikely.
Awesome. Yeah,
I don't think that was even made. But
no, I wish it was.
You probably can find video players that are still made today that are made for like China or somewhere. But I don't know. I just think get an old video player for like really cheap and then try and connect it to a TV. But the thing is, if you connect it to a digital TV, the picture just looks even worse than it would do
on the CRT. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, on an old TV. Like, you may as well just go out and buy a combi thing and sit in your bedroom watching old videotapes or something. Because, like, if you watch it in 14-inch, it looks good, or even 21-inch. But don't buy a 50-inch CRTV. That's just, I mean, maybe if you're really into it. But there are some people who do that, honestly. Do you remember when Cameron had a CRT TV in the background on his videos?
Yeah.
And what was quite funny is he said there's some people would come in and insult him because of that TV.
Oh, come on. Because of that TV. I always thought it
I
was
know,
there
I
so you
mean,
could watch
not
some of
me.
those
I was
VHS.
very appreciative of that TV.
Yeah.
I was like,
Say, all
that's a
right.
silver TV camera, and that's probably 20 years old now, right? And he's
Mhm.
like, yeah, it's maybe 16 years old. I don't know, but I don't know why they also went with silver for everything at one point.
Yeah. Yes, that became the
I think
color,
they
yeah.
look better either white or black.
Mhm. I
I
agree.
got bought a white 14-inch TV once, and I thought that was brilliant.
Oh, nice.
I mean, I wasn't going around saying, "Hey, everyone, I've got a white TV."
White TV. Yeah. That
No, but I
sounds
mean,
right.
like not white as in it was like an Aryan TV or something. White power TV. It was the very 80s or 90s kind of look, and then they went,
Yeah.
"Oh, we're going to make everything silvery," but it
It's
just
so
looked
true.
like
Now that you've said that, everything I'm looking at, yeah, you're.
it just looked not good, in my opinion, when everything went silver. It just
Mm.
showed up dust more. And then it also
Yeah,
just, if it had sun on it, it would go this kind of yellowy silver that
get
looked like,
burnt
well, maybe
down.
that was nicotine. I don't know. But you just see like second-hand TVs. It's like, how old is this? 2 years old. This looks like shit.
Oh, 2 years old. Yeah.
And then, do you remember they came out with the widescreen TVs?
Yeah.
I mean,
But
seriously,
they were
what was the
still low
point in
def,
that?
right? I know.
Like, okay, so you're watching a VHS tape on a widescreen TV,
Mm. Just
compressed or something, and it was like
yeah.
always people were like, "This looks really good, doesn't it?" It's like, really, this is real widescreen. No, it's
Mm.
not. That's a 4:3 ratio VHS tape
Being
squashed.
stretched, squashed or stretched. Yeah, either way. Yeah.
Like I remember getting Wild at Heart on
Mhm.
widescreen VHS.
Wow.
It's just like, oh yeah, this is amazing.
Because that was the big thing. I remember
I'm watching.
Blockbusters, they would show that, they had that poster of that movie with Kevin Bacon or something as the water guy or something, and then they would show, "This is what you're missing," and then they're like, "This is what you get with widescreen."
The water guy.
Oh, I don't know what he I gotta
What
look it
the
up.
hell's
What mo
that?
Yeah, let me find out what movie that was. Let me see.
What was it called? The water guy. You
Some
mean?
Mandela effect. Kevin I suppose it was Kevin Bacon. Kevin
You mean a film or a
Yeah,
TV show?
it was a film, I'm pretty sure. Oh, maybe it was Hollow Man. Yeah, it's Hollow Man. Because at what point he gets, she throws water at him. There's a famous scene of his arms, like, stretching out to her or something.
Mm.
Yeah, it was from Hollow Man, but either way. Hmm. Oh my god. Wow.
You remember when Voltaire kept making comments on Christabel's
Yeah, or
Facebook
Twitter or Facebook or Twitter,
and
yeah.
also on Haim, the band
Mm.
Himes, because they
Really?
would like do photos where they were sort of like wearing bikinis or something. So,
Oh, man.
uh, yeah, but the stuff with Christabel, it got a bit like, to me, it got a bit excessive, perhaps,
Yeah.
and contributed to me being afraid of seeing Christabel when I met her. I didn't meet her, but I stood within about 4 meters of.
Mm.
And Voltaire said that I was afraid of talking to her and things. It wasn't
Mhm.
that. It was just that I didn't. I don't know. I just felt like I don't really know what to say, and I
Mm.
probably was just tired or something. So therefore, it's a bit stupid to start, or a bit pointless to say, "Oh, yeah, you're brilliant to the return,"
Mhm.
because
Well, there
that
you
would
go.
be me being like just making stuff up. It's.
Well, you see that she
I didn't
wasn't
know.
brilliant in the
No,
return,
I'm
yeah.
not saying she wasn't good.
That's literally what
She
you
was
just said.
just
You're
no
making stuff up.
more
Your
like
own words.
just. I was probably still processing things. It's not like I'd listened to every Christabel album or something, so
Mm.
I just felt a bit. There were other people talking to her as well, so just the
Mm.
fact that she came out and just stood around near people is
That's
pretty
good.
good to me. That's what.
Oh, yeah.
Why do I need to say anything to her?
That's true too.
Like when I saw Sherilyn Fenn, I said something to her
Yeah. Yeah.
because she spoke about on stage in the return. She says, "I hope I get a hook up with Cooper,"
Oh, come on.
and then No, but she's literally said that, and I said the same to her. I said, I hope that happens and everything. And she laughed and stuff. But like when you look at the reality of what happened in the return, it's even more disturbing on some level.
Yeah, very much. Yeah.
Because there's just no. It wasn't anything to do with that kind of thing, was there? To do with the connection with the original show?
No.
Where feasibly now, Cooper and Audrey would be fine for them to have a relationship. She's not in high school now, so when she was in high school, for an FBI agent to start having a relationship with her would be a bit.
You might get kicked off the force, I think.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and also, let's face it, behind the scenes, Carl McLaughlin was in a kind of relationship with Laura Flynn Boyle. So,
well, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. For him to start having any kind of interaction on set with Shelley and Femme would have just seemed weird because she was actually about 25 when she was in the show. So, no, she wasn't. Yeah, she was actually the oldest out of any of the actresses in that kind of like when the original show Made Your Name Eat was actually like 18 when she made the pilot. So,
wow, was she the youngest of them? I guess.
Yeah, definitely. She really did look like she'd just been in high school but dropped out because of Leah.
Yeah, literally.
Why that was happening is another question. But I think that Shelley was a good portrayal of someone who might have just dropped out of high school, but she didn't really need to because she was obviously like bright, wasn't she?
Yeah, very much. Yeah.
There was always that scene where she was like making fun of Legland's funeral there, that some people said that she was being mean. But I don't think that's what Shelley's intention was. She was just sort of like having a joke with the customers in the double R. There's two guys laughing about it. Because when you actually look at it, for people who are outsiders who maybe didn't know Leyland, or this town is supposed to be 50,000 people in the show. So everyone's not going to know Leyland, are they? So from an outsider's point of view, it is funny, but it's not from the perspective of that. We know more about law and everything like that. So we feel, how Sarah felt, and but that, I mean, when you think about it, that whole funeral scene is just like so much drama going on at the same time, and it kind of encompasses that soap opera aspect of Twin Peaks, but the Johnny shouting "Amen," and then Bobby's just ready to just start kicking off at any moment.
Ready to.
And then James goes in the zone completely. So I mean, that's not very respectful, is it? For this, I mean, that culminates in Leland jumping on. It's not funny at all. It's actually serious.
Yeah.
Jumping onto the actual.
I know when he jumps on the coffin, right? Like
going up and down. That's actually a very serious scene with dramatic tension and everything.
It was somehow comical and disturbing.
I don't understand why Bobby, there's almost like a bromance going on with Bobby and James. Like they're like just assaulting each other at the wedding, but there's almost like this romantic tension there.
Really? I don't
I'm not sure. There is.
You're just adding that now. Come on now.
It's like the barking at James when he's in the. Seriously, but James is like. It's not like normal tension, is it? It's like we're both in a relationship with Laura, so therefore there's just this massive hostility.
It's just
The reality of it was that Bobby had been kind of like not groomed or anything, but I mean, Laura was not treating him very well, was she?
No, she was controlling all aspects of his life. Poor guy.
But she wasn't really treating James that well either. But I mean, that was more of a conventional relationship with James, I suppose. With Bobby, she just wanted him there to get her drugs mainly. To be fair.
Drug dealer. Yeah.
And she sort of just would treat him like a little boy. in a sense. Because, and then that scene where he shot the guy, and then
Yeah.
James is like, "Bobby didn't shoot the guy." Like,
Mhm.
what are you talking about, James? How do you know? That was that always made me laugh a bit, but
Yeah.
not because it's disturbing at the same time as like makes you question what you've seen in the film because they did shoot like Bobby literally shot him. You see that literally.
I
You
kind
did
of
really
wish.
see it,
Yeah. Yeah.
but they cover him up with basically bits of twigs.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wish in some way in the
Like,
Return of Somebody they showed a scene of somebody walking and just seeing the body there, just making representation
well, you wouldn't
or
see the body now, would you? You'd see like
this the bones and stuff, like, somebody just discovering
I
and
don't
maybe
know
even having
even
it
if you'd see those. The thing
oh, for sure.
you might just see. I think it'd be better if you had maybe
It'd be a
that
skull.
connects to something to do with the whole thing where, because feasibly, where the trailer park is in Twin Peaks, in
Mhm.
or on the outskirts of Twin Peaks, like it is plausible that they moved the Deer Meadow one there for some
Mm.
reason. It's not totally far fetched, but on the
Yeah.
other hand, that the woods near that, just round the back of it, they are pretty much the same areas, I think, from especially listening to Cameron and stuff, where they filmed a lot of Fire Walk with Me.
Oh, wow.
So it's not even like it was supposed to be. Yeah, it's not like it was at the sound of Soaring Wood, wasn't it? So it's got to
Mhm.
be near Twin Peaks, really,
Like, if they would have found
or
it
certainly.
in this, let's say the case would have been brought up again, and then Bobby would have been under scrutiny or maybe
It's
looked
like,
at.
how was that overlooked for so long? I don't understand. I
Yeah.
mean, people would be walking through those woods normally. It wasn't that. It wasn't in the darkest depths of the woods in the middle of nowhere in
Yeah.
Canada or something.
And the odds of 25 years
Like,
later, somebody might have found it as a cold case, something.
I found it within a few weeks,
Oh, yeah, no,
plausibly.
I'm just
I
giving the
think
benefit of the doubt. I'd giving them 25 years, somebody would have found a skull or
it makes you question like how much of it really happened in some sense because on in that scene they're supposed to be both on drugs, aren't they? And
yes.
the way it's filmed as well, when Bobby shoots the guy, it's filmed in this sort of rather strange way, like that Lynch often used.
Mm.
And like originally in this country, it was an 18 certificate film.
Yeah.
Now, now Pirate with Me is certified as a 15.
Oh my
And
goodness.
when, like in that scene where Bobby shoots the guy,
Yeah.
Deputy Cliff, like it kind of shows like his head like a balloon. If you
Yeah.
pause it,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like some
Yeah.
of the effects in Lost Highway a bit actually, like practical effects, like.
Yeah. His head basically explodes in a way. Yeah, he shoots his head.
It's just yeah, it's completely something like something out of Scanners.
Yeah.
But like when Bob Engels was talking about Firewalk with Me, he says it's all a dream,
Mm.
which is sort of an interesting way of looking at the whole thing. He
Yeah.
didn't apply that to Twin Peaks the show, but he says, "Isn't it all a dream in terms of Firewalk with Me?"
Mm.
So that's an interesting way of looking at it
Very
because
much.
it's
Yeah.
just got so many things that are like out of place. Like it's supposed to be set in February or January or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, February, because it's like this is the last 7 days of Royal Apollo, and yet everything looks autumnal. So you know, and the things that added more realism to it as well, like for instance, the stuff with Doc Hayward, and
Yeah.
then also there's even the deleted scene where there's a shot of the church, the local church, and things like that.
Mhm.
They did like Lynch deliberately didn't put those things in, and so it definitely has a
Mhm.
dreamlike feel to the whole of Fire with Me, I think,
Yeah,
to an
for sure.
extent. I'm not suggesting the whole thing is somebody's dream, but I think it definitely has a dreamlike
Yeah.
uh, feel or
Mhm.
vibe, for want of a better word.
Mhm.
Atmosphere, really. The
Yes.
show feels more like we're in Twin Peaks now, whereas in Fire Walk with Me, it's more like this is the story of
Of Laura.
Cooper, Leyland, and Laura, sort of.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
There's definitely a lot of Cooper in the prologue, but it's then the scenes that were supposed to be Kyle MacLachlan, they changed it and filmed it with Chris Isaac. So it's sort of and then the fact that Kiefer Sutherland in it as well was like, okay, this is quite a well-known actor, but he's in a sort of smallish role. And then, have you seen these recent performances by Kiefer Sutherland where he's singing "In the Air Tonight"?
I only saw the clip of it, but I didn't like click on it to see it. No.
They've been playing it a lot here on BBC Radio 2.
Oh, wow. Does it sound good?
So, well, I'll put it on. You can choose yourselves. Just do it as an outro for the show, maybe.
Okay.
Because I mean, I think many people would appreciate this. It's for me. I thought it was okay. Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson storm out of SNL 50th anniversary concert.
Oh, sure.
There's so many stories like this nowadays that are just exaggerated, in my opinion.
Yeah, because everything's so instant now. You can just report everything you see instantly without any context.
24 hours. Yeah. So this was on the 11th of February. Kiefer Sutherland, In the Air Tonight. Phil Collins cover. Yes, obviously. In the Radio 2 piano room. Like some people have criticised it, but I thought it was okay. I mean, make up your mind. I'll just put it on the screen now.
Okay.
Don't make any comments about Kiefer Sutherland's beard being dyed or anything like that with just for men ginger. It's not. It's original. It's all his real.
Number 20.
That is his real beard colour.
Okay.
No, this is a completely normal.
Okay.
Wait, I've got it on. Let me just get the right one on. There we go. Right, I should put it on YouTube.
Now you have to say that. Now that's all I can focus on now. Why did you have to say that? No, he's just a beard with a face on him.
I'll get the right thing on.
Okay.
And I've been waiting for this moment all my life. Oh Lord, can you feel it coming here tonight?
It's probably one of the best performances I've seen.
How did you have such a big band?
This year.
Well, if you told me you were drowning, I would not lend a hand.
Does it sound bad to you, or is it something?
Oh, I've seen your face.
It sounds okay.
I think it's my own
I don't know if you know who I am. I was there and I saw what you did. Oh, I saw it in my own two eyes. So you can wipe off this grit, 'cause I know where you've been. It's all been a high climb. And I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord. And I've been waiting for this moment all my life. Oh Lord. Can you feel it coming in the air tonight? Oh Lord. 'Cause I've been waiting for this moment all my life. Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
Right.
I remember.
So, yeah, it was just a closing thoughts. Did you enjoy Keith Sutherland there?
It's okay. It's not as bad as I thought it might have been, but it's all right.
No.
Good production. Good music.
Have you got any film recommendations or TV, etc., that you might have been watching lately before we finish the show? So maybe we could continue into the next show with that, or we'll see. For me, I've not actually watched that many new films other than the ones I saw at the cinema, the Companions and Flight Risk, which is neither of them were that amazing, but I've watched something, a few like TV shows and things like that, but nothing really any amazing films lately, to be honest. But
Yeah.
I know there are ones here and there to watch, but like the film with Adrian Brody, The Brutalist, is supposed to be good, but on the other hand, it's like over 3 hours, I think, and it's on the cinema, and I don't know if it's available for streaming yet and things like that, but people have said like this is a real film, as opposed to like looking like something that's made for Netflix and then it's on TV. Like, have you heard of that new Amy Schumer film that some people have said it's like they said it's literally the worst film ever made.
Oh shit, no, I haven't.
I don't know. She's wearing like a fake pregnancy belly in it. It's a woman who fakes that she's pregnant. And that's the story. I mean, that's really bad. I mean, when I saw a trailer for it, I was like, so Amy Schumer's still got a career now. Then I mean,
it sounds. I know.
Like, how is this happening? It seems like she was revealed as having showed. I mean, she has Cushing's syndrome now. Apparently, actress and director Amy Schumer has revealed she has Cushing's syndrome, which has got nothing to do with Peter Cushing, the actor who was in the Hammer horror films, caused by having steroid injections in high doses. I mean,
what the?
And I don't have anything against it. I'm not trying to make fun of her or anything, but I've never seen a film in that I thought was good with her.
No, yeah, I know.
I mean, that film Trainwreck, I remember when that came out, I was like, oh, for God's sake. So she's basically an alcoholic in this, or a woman with a drink problem. Hilarious. It's not that funny, is it? And as a comedian, it was revealed that she was really stealing other people's jokes.
Yeah, that was a huge for a while. Yeah,
I mean, I think that's worse than what Louis C.K. did with his masturbation and stuff. To be honest,
just jerking off constantly.
Not really. I mean, I don't think anything like that. But
he's doing it again.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. I think that was obviously a bit of going a bit far with the fetish. It's not good, but
yeah, a little too far.
I mean, Louis C.K. has done some funny stuff, but
yeah.
I wouldn't include that as part of it.
He did something with Lynch, right? He did a little skit or something that was funny.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was in his show. But there's Jack Dahl, this production or a producer or whatever.
Yeah.
Who just there's one shot where he says, "How about you try some?" Or one piece where he says, "How about you get some Brill cream and smarten your image up and stuff?" And it's like, what? Why does Louis C.K. have Brill cream? I mean, this has not been achieved on major. Like, okay, you just got to get that bit of hair there. Just really.
Who suggested that? Was that Lynch that suggested it? That's funny.
Yeah, innit? He's supposed to be so sort of just. Probably he just does the same thing to everybody.
Yeah.
And he just keeps saying, like, if you want to have a career, you've got to go with the status quo and all this kind of thing, which is like the opposite of Lynch's own sort of.
That's funny.
I mean, you've got to work within the system to a degree.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether wearing Brill cream is particularly
so
going to help Louis C.K., is it, when he's basically got no hair?
That's funny.
Well, not on top anyway. I mean,
I always like
someone saying to me, yeah, just
good sense of humor.
If you dyed your hair blonde, James, that would be really effective.
Yeah, or the ginger red we just saw, Kiefer Sutherland.
Someone spray painted my head. Trump associated guy who came on with like sprayed hair on the top.
Yeah.
No, you can buy that. I mean, get some topic, as they call it, like the sprinkle on hair.
Yeah, the sprinkle.
Just looks like someone sprinkled dirt on the top of your head.
I know. Just wear a wig at that.
It's more for people with like they have a bald spot here or whatever, and they want to cover that up a bit. It makes maybe they've got like a photo or something that they want to do. That makes sense. Or if say you're a singer or something like that, because then that would be the focus of the entire singing. Like, oh, he's blonde on top. Like,
Yeah, I
you
know.
listen to the singing. It's like with that Kiefer Sutherland, like that beard is so too red.
It was distracting.
And I mean, it wasn't terrible. There's nothing wrong with it. He's singing and everything, and he's just going for a different thing, which involves shouting, basically. I can feel it. It's me in the air. Sit down.
Yeah.
It sounds a bit.
A little too
I don't
much.
know. I don't know what.
It's being
It was
too artsy
fine.
with it. You know?
I had no issues with it at all because at least he's trying to do something different rather than going, I can feel it coming. Which sounds a bit like if you're trying to imitate Phil Collins, it's like no one can do it as good as Phil Collins. So,
Yeah.
who's one of the greatest singers of all time, apart from Henry Rollins? They had a combination of Henry Rollins and Phil Collins where they called it Henry Collins or something.
Oh, come on now.
Phil Rollins.
Please stop.
Bearing in mind that Henry Rollins, his real name is not Rollins. That comes from a childhood thing.
Yeah.
Where he and Ian Mackay would ring each other up and go, hey, it's Jack Rollins. I'm right outside your house right now, and I've put 10 kilograms of dynamite underneath your mother's bed. And it was like, so kind of Henry went the route through to become like Hollywood, whereas Ian did just like producing bands and things and made his own band, Fugazi. Sure. So, you know, it's debatable which is the best route to go down, really.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Well, I mean, Henry said, maybe I swallowed the whole Hollywood thing a bit too much when he actually got a guy come over from Finland and invade his house. He was genuinely schizophrenic. So,
yeah,
that was not an ideal circumstance.
No, not by any means.
No, I mean, you know, it's real. Like that was during COVID and everything. And he confronted him, though, of course.
Wow.
Which was like, and his agent, or sorry, his manager, Heidi, was like, "Henry, don't go anywhere near it."
Yeah. Hey, you. They probably would have kicked the shit out.
He didn't. Like Henry realised this guy was taller than him and more well built and stuff. But then he says this guy clearly has never been hit before or anything like that. And he tried to punch him in the face and it missed. Then the second time he connected, and the guy from Finland who was in his 20s says, "You're smiling now." And they both had like, he was smiling now, like they both had masks on.
What the fuck? Yeah. Wow.
Like this is such a macho. I mean, Henry's in his 60s now, so he's not like how he used to be, where he was doing bodybuilding and everything.
Yeah, he was ripped.
No, he's much smaller. Like, he's only like 5'9" or 10 or something, so he's not big. But he's like, but he was big at one point, you know.
Yeah.
But now he's almost like basically a vegetarian and stuff. And but that guy, he just sort of like they realised that he was actually, you know, mentally ill. So it could have ended much worse in the American funeral system. But Henry just basically said that he should be let off and obviously warned not to do anything like this again.
Yeah.
Then he would be arrested again. And the going into jail in America would be much worse than where he'd been kept, you know.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah.
He'd been treated well, but the lawyer actually said you actually made things worse by confronting him, because therefore
you kind of give him an upper hand legally or something.
Henry said, like, the lawyer we were very lucky to find, who we had to pay loads of money to.
Oh my goodness.
Said to us, basically, by you punching him, therefore you're giving him a leg to stand on, rather than the fact that he invaded your house and then took pictures off the wall and things and smashed them, and etc. That kind of thing. He kept doing it. He invaded 3 times.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and there were actually people also camping on the top of Henry's house, or his compound, as he called it.
Yeah.
Which he bought deliberately because he thought it was kind of a safe place.
Like
to have just an office and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Just trying to relax.
It was a big house, but he had a sound system and all that kind of thing in there. And it was just, he thought like it was hard to get into. This guy just climbed straight over the front gate, dismantled the whole thing that was just ripped the electrics out of the thing. And it's like, this guy So this guy, he called him Finland boy.
Mhm.
His mother or father was a lawyer and stuff like this, and they were just very embarrassed by the whole thing and just obviously, worried. Because he said, "Who does this guy remind me of?" Finland boy, as he called him. And he said, "Me,"
Really?
because he went all the way through South America to get into America at that point.
What?
Because for some reason there
Oh
was the
my
whole
God.
restrictions due to COVID and stuff.
But just think of
And Henry's always been into the travel side of things because he had so many air miles and stuff like that from being in the band. And he thought, okay, I've got to do something with this. But he also did the whole thing with visiting soldiers and stuff like that. The same as Robin Williams did.
Yeah.
And the soldiers are just like, "What are you doing here?"
What's going on?
Because he's not necessarily as well known as Robin Williams, but he's well known.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
He's not a celebrity, but that's part of the thing. It's good for him to visit. And then there's people like missing the legs and things. And he said it was just terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'd have to have a day to just sort of like take it all in and just like wind down basically.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact is, when you travel and things like this, it is an interesting experience. But the reality is that you're always it kind of expands your experiences and your awareness of things, but you're still with yourself, aren't you? And with your own problems to an extent. But it's eye opening, definitely.
I agree.
I recommend traveling, but things that you can't really get from just reading a book, And
you gotta get out there and see the world. Yeah,
it's like when I went to Zambia. It's sort of like
that's amazing. Yeah,
in some ways, I wish it had been a bit more ideal circumstances, but on the other hand, it was just a real experience. So
yeah, exactly. Something you can look back on.
It's going to be the same. Just go down, go on holiday 50 miles 50 miles away from where you live. But on the seaside, that's just the same. But you don't have to go all the way to Africa. It's like.
But still, that's an adventure.
Just but when you get there, you're not like, oh, I'm thousands of miles away from where I live.
Yeah.
You're just sort of. I was there, and I'm like, oh, I can't go to sleep now because I've been on a plane for ages.
I know. Yeah.
And now I've got to take these tablets for malaria and sleep under a net, basically.
Oh man.
And it's not comfortable,
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I'm going to get malaria any moment. Or AIDS.
Oh shit!
And we're of course in the flats that I stayed in. Like it's basically right next to a cancer hospital, which is even more uplifting.
Yeah,
and a morgue.
Ooh.
So it was a great holiday, I must say. No, those things were not obviously like. I just wanted to recommend our viewer now and say thank you to Nactorn1 for best viewers on streamboo.com. Remove the space at QKILFRV.
That's not AI. I don't know what it is.
11:28. Thank you for watching to Nactorn. 11:28. That's 7 minutes ago. So 7 is our lucky number here, and I thank you.
Yes, it is. We're known by 7.
Coffee Time could reach the heights again of having 800 subscribers. How many subscribers have you now got on your channel called Cyberpunk Dystopia?
Last I looked, it was
2,000.
No, 961. I'm getting close to 1,000.
If you get to 1,000, you can monetize the channel, and you will be
making all the pennies.
going to be. Now the thing is, you've got a name for a channel which actually has some import, whereas mine is called, or ours, I would say.
Yours is always changing.
Twin Peaks, damn good coffee time. I might change it to Coffee Time with me.
What about just Twin Peaks
with
Coffee
us?
Time?
No, with us.
No, you gotta keep the Twin Peaks name in it.
That's too small. It's got to be longer. It's going to be Twin Peaks, like in Fire With Me. The original title for the film was, for the script at least, was Twin Peaks, Fire Walk With Me, No, Twin Peaks, Teresa Banks, Fire Walk with Me, and The Last 7 Days of Laura Palmer, or something in that order. Can't remember which one.
Yeah.
Twin Peaks, The Last Fire Walk with Me, Teresa Banks, and The Last 7 Days. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. Fire Walk with Me at the start, and then Teresa Banks, and The Last 7 Days of Laura Palmer. That's a bit of a weird title for a film.
Yeah.
Or long, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But that just showed how much they had to put into the script. And then they basically thought, I think, that it was going to be 2 films or something.
Yeah, like a sequel. Yeah, well, they should have had a sequel.
No. Well, the plan was to make 3 films anyway. So then Fire Walk with Me came out and they went, I don't know if we're going to get a chance to make it. Because even though CB 2000 or CB DeMille, as it was, they said, okay, yeah, you could probably make 2 more Twin Peaks films after this.
Oh, well.
And then they would have had a lot of deleted scenes anyway, so they could have put them into the second film to some extent.
Yeah.
And then gone more into the stuff with David Bowie and Chet Desmond or Cooper, etc. Because obviously they couldn't just keep focused on Laura Palmer for a second film, could they? They would have to move it more into Twin Peaks territory.
Yeah, they could still tie it in some way, but yeah, for sure.
Definitely, yeah. But I think it could have been just something completely else. And
yeah, I agree with that.
Like going into stuff after Cooper was in Twin Peaks, because they did, after all, film stuff like Heather Graham as Annie, for the scenes like Cameron started with Queen of Hearts when Mandela Man started crying and everything. And then I'm not making fun of that, but the stuff with Annie and The Ring was filmed, which was quite surprising actually. But I mean, it was good. It was actually quite well done.
Yeah.
Like when the nurse puts, very well done. When nurse puts the ring on and everything, that could have been a good bit of the ending of the film in some ways. But I think it would have been better in the second film, maybe. I don't know.
That is true.
Because it seems like it would have made the film more about other things than Laura Palmer in a way. So, but they kind of easily put it at the after the stuff with Laura Palmer and then go coming soon in the next Twin Peaks film. I don't know. It would have been a bit after the credits, I think Cameron mentioned at one point. But yeah, I think it would have been better to put us at like promo for the next film and then to coming soon in the Twin Peaks universe or something. Yeah. Yeah, like there's a trailer and then you just see a bit of the nurse bit. And then they could have filmed a lot of other stuff connected to that. Other stuff with Annie and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's quite weird how Heather Graham was not at all even in The Return, but she could have been. I think it's just time. It's like Chris Isaac was supposed to be in some scene or other in The Return, but he was ill. So,
too bad. Wow.
He had some kind of, just flu or whatever, but he's not normally been ill that often. Sure. I mean, as a singer and stuff, but because Cameron met him as well, and they mentioned, and he said to him, you were great as Chet Desmond or something like this, because he wasn't he? Especially when you see those deleted scenes with.
Great
I can't imagine really that long fight though being in Fire Walk with Me, but I mean.
Sure.
They could have had a bit of it in because it seems too long-winded to me, like almost a bit sadistic. Like, why is Chet Desmond having this long fight?
I know. The throwdown. Yeah,
it seemed a bit excessive, but it was supposed to be almost semi-comical because you have Chet Desmond, no, not Chet Desmond, Sheriff Cable like bending steel, which is
I know,
pretty much impossible unless you're like superhuman strength or something. So they had like this bendy fake steel and everything. So and then he picks it up again after repeatedly punching him in the head that could have given him brain damage or something. And then the guy's like lying on the floor, and then he bends the steel as well.
Yes,
Chet Desmond.
yeah.
I don't know if that's some comment on like toxic masculinity or something, maybe. But
I always just thought he was
So anyway, I don't
he was just teaching him a lesson for his attitude, because when they get there, it was
It's
nothing
like
but...
the FBI have to kind of come first, don't they, in anything Twin Peaks in the
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
But you do obviously question the FBI to some extent in the sense of like
The
Christopher
way they go
Lee
about yeah.
considers himself to still be in the FBI. So that in itself is quite questionable. And the FBI badge looks a bit from certain, it looks a bit like that logo on well, I can't talk about this type of thing
Yes, yeah,
that
yeah.
Hawk mentions. And in
Yeah,
different
on the map, right?
scenes, like with Cooper, doesn't always have that badge on, and so sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. Which is a bit strange. Yeah, I mean, I think it all kind of comes together, especially in that scene in part 18 where it's like Cooper, but he's sort of acting not really like Cooper as well, isn't he? Where he puts all the guns in the fryer and things. It's okay, I'm with the FBI.
This is...
Oh, by the way, some of those guns might go off. What?
Yeah.
The hell is going on here? This is not FBI protocol, is it? Just put those guns in the fryer. And they're basically near where that couple are sitting, and they're just enjoying like a mountain of pancakes.
Yeah, I
And that's
know.
Clint Eastwood's daughter, Francesca Eastwood, and she says, okay, here's the address of that other woman who we randomly asked for, who's obviously Cheryl Lee, but Harry Page. But I mean, how does he even know that she works there in the first place? I don't understand that.
Yes, we're not given any information of that Cooper's life or that Richard's life.
His action at shooting the guy through the foot, you could say maybe that was a bit excessive, but they did threaten him first. So.
Oh no, yeah, everything made sense except for putting the guns in oil. That was the only thing that didn't make sense.
Well, not shooting the guy through the foot. He didn't need to do that.
Well, he could have shot him in the balls or something. So the guy got lucky. So he just got it in the foot.
No, he went. I know, but it's not FBI
protocol. I know.
FBI
I know.
Agreed reaction to that situation.
I know.
Because remember, first of all, that Cooper kicks him in the ball.
Yes.
From seated position.
That's a good kick,
which would be incredibly difficult. But it's basically it's like a mixture of Richard and Cooper with.
That's what I was about to say, yeah. Because Richard in this one
he's literally like Dirty Harry, basically.
Yeah,
but that's why there's Francesca Eastwood in that scene.
Yeah.
Who is Clint Eastwood's actual daughter, who has been in some films, yes, where you can see that she had breast implants, I will say. But she definitely.
Okay.
No, but she definitely looks akin to a bit Amanda Seyfried, a bit.
She very much looks like yeah.
Almost like the Laura-ish kind of look.
Yes,
very.
I agree. Yeah.
Blonde hair, blue eyes type of look.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter about blue eyes necessarily. She could have hazel eyes or anything, but it's that kind of look, the sort of blondie.
It's kind of an architect, face. Right? Yeah, like an architect of.
Yeah, a bit like the golden.
Yes.
The whole Moonchild idea and sort of a bit of a. Not Aryan, but it's almost like Nordic even.
Yeah, I know. I understand exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
The Norwegians are leaving. The Norwegians.
Yeah, that's true.
There's nothing like that he's ever mentioned in The Return, but that's because The Return is sort of more of a. It's like a collision between Twin Peaks and the real world, where there's things happening in it, like the Chinese designer drugs and just I mean, we've been through all of this many, many times, but it's like it doesn't truly feel like Twin Peaks, does it? Because there's all these shots of the woods and things, but then there's no shots of owls or that sort of mood. It feels a bit bleak around the edges somehow.
Yeah, I can almost swear whenever they're in the woods, there's not a single bird or sound of any animals around them when they're walking.
Not even a beaver.
Like nothing.
I mean, I would have liked a close up of some beaver.
Some beavers, yeah.
But,
they're cool.
I don't mean like that, for God's sake. This is a family show, okay?
Oh, right.
And I just mean like critters, as people in America call them. I don't know why they call them critters, but not like in the film Critters, for God's sake.
Critters.
That would be ridiculous.
Oh my God, yeah.
I mean, this would be on a level with things that Genie didn't like in the.
Genie.
Have you seen how Naktorn is just on the screen still? I mean, how many shows about Twin Peaks do you get this level of entertainment? Or you could call it like non-entertainment.
No.
You put this on if you're ever really tired but you can't sleep. Guaranteed you'll be hitting the hay immediately. But I don't know why Nat Torn is on the screen this long. James is talking again about the return, repeating the exact same thing he said 7 years ago.
What year is this?
It doesn't feel really like Twin Peaks in the return, does it? No, it doesn't. Okay. But what does it feel like then? I don't know. It just doesn't feel like Twin Peaks. I mean, it doesn't though. You know, like when they go to Jack Rabbit's palace and all that kind of thing. It's like Bobby's like, this is a tall tale. My dad told me these stories here and things.
Yeah.
But all we see of Major Briggs is his floating head. And then his supposed body, which is just like, it doesn't look like a real dead body even. It looks like something in one of these, like, the London Dungeon, and someone's made this crap plastic model.
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
It looks deliberately artificial. The same thing with the Ruth Davenport, and that body was based on Emily Stoffel's sister, Mary Stoffel, i.e., Emily Stoffel was married to Lynch.
Yeah.
Then we heard they got divorced. This is the same thing that's happened with all of his previous relationships. Like, sometimes he would get married and divorced within the space of 3 days, merely so that they could have the, agreement set in place for the, looking after the children and stuff.
Oh,
so they just have it was just done through, like, a lawyer or whatever. Not Walter Lynch, but other people. Like, Lynch was very focused on his work all the time, and he says sometimes, I wish. I mean, maybe I could have spent more time with my children and all this kind of thing, but it's just the way, it turned out. He was very work focused to an extent, perhaps. He said he thinks too much, but, it's the way he was, I suppose. Living the art life.
Yeah, it's true.
I think when someone like him gets into the habit of being like that, it's very difficult to just suddenly change, and become like, I'll just spend all my time with my children or something. Because, with his youngest daughter, Lula, though, there was a video of him painting with her and all sorts of things. So that's good.
No, yeah.
It's pretty amazing for a man, when he was like 68 or whatever, and he had a new child. And then she's now, I don't know, must be about 13 or 14 or something. So I hope they're all doing well. Emily Stoffel as well, his, partner with Lula. I mean, calling her Lula in itself is like quite interesting. But I mean, I think that Lynch was good at relationships. He sort of did still carry, his whole relationships and everything stemmed out of his work there and doing art and making things. Because they were people he worked with. Like Mary Sweeney before was his editor. So she edited Fire Walk with Me. But if you look at pictures of the Cannes Film Festival, with they're standing with Mary Sweeney pregnant with a rather large, stomach, and then pregnant stomach, obviously, and David the other side, David Lynch, and then in the middle, Michael J. Anderson, like holding hands. So and I could just remember seeing that on the news here, and like they had entertainment news, and it was just very briefly mentioned, and you could tell, like, okay, this is a bit rubbish. Like, the zeitgeist has just moved on. There's no more Twin Peaks obsession. It's just like, David Lynch released his Twin Peaks film. That's it.
Yeah.
And you could see Twin Peaks in like this red firework, like when they do the letters going off as fireworks on top of a building. And apparently there's a party, on a boat and everything, but we never saw any of that. It was just reports like, and then some people booed at Firewalk with Me, which wasn't completely true either. There was 2 separate screenings at least of it. I think one in the morning. You can imagine people would have been like not into it fully.
Yeah.
It's not really a film you get up in the morning and start sitting around watching it, because
Yeah.
it would have made people like go, "What the hell is this? This is not even Twin Peaks" at the start. And like, I'd read the script before I saw it and stuff, and
Yeah, I don't know why you.
Cameron would say that to me, like, "Why did you do that?" I don't know. Like, it doesn't seem a good idea. And I said, "No, I know it wasn't a good idea, but I got it.
Yeah.
So therefore I had to read it."
I read it.
But it did ruin the film to an extent. Yeah, I would say that. Yeah. Because, one thing with you, like, you do like the Lord of the Rings stuff and everything, Johnny. I don't mean to be personal, but have you seen any of these things? There's a new one that was animated, there wasn't there?
The
That was
Ride of the
released on the
Rohirrim
cinemas.
or something. Yeah, I haven't seen that
Yeah.
one. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it must be quite good if it was released on the cinemas, you would expect, but
You would think, but yeah, I don't know.
because I mean, animated films, like, not that it's like my ideal film, but that The Wild Robot did very well. I went to see that in 3D.
Yeah,
and
you were telling me about that. Yeah.
it's pretty involving, even though it's aimed probably at not my age, but at the same time, I give it credit for being like an old-fashioned style animated film, even though it's done using computers. But I mean, the basis of it is, to make a film literally hand drawn now. I hate keep saying literally now. This is just, but
yeah. Mm.
This is very low IQ now. But it's nothing to do with IQ. It's just overusing language. And I think, like, to draw a whole film like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, or even those films that Disney made in the 80s or something.
Oh, they took thousands of hours, frame by frame.
I mean, even the Beauty and the Beast, wasn't that hand drawn? I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, it was one of the last, but I think it was one of the first also to introduce small CGI help, whatever.
I mean, those are well-made films. I'm not saying that I'm a massive Beauty and the Beast fan, but I just, at the same time, you still got to appreciate. It's like the original Lord of the Rings film, from the 80s.
One, yeah.
Like, did you like that? We've spoken about it before, haven't we? No,
that one is a very that's a unique one though. Yeah,
it's rather dark for me.
Very dark, yeah.
In terms of the visuals, but it's actually well done. It's a bit.
They blended some real life stuff and animation. It's unique.
Yeah, well, they did. They based most of the visuals of the the whole.
Whenever they show like the rays fighting,
etc., they were like literally based on real people moving around, and they like just would trace it and they pretty much. I don't know the exact way, like not rotoscoping, but something like that. And
very unique, yeah.
It's a bit like when I first saw Tron. I mean, Tron was like, I remember that it was so hyped up, and then I would have seen it probably on TV or something, maybe, and and that, or maybe, I don't know, on video with it, but it was just like, I don't know if I first saw that actually in the cinema, and I was almost like at the age where I was just like, I don't like this. I didn't. Something about it I didn't like. I remember, like a lot of young children and stuff, or youngsters, you have like these rather vivid reactions to things. It was too repetitive and dark for me in terms of the visuals. It's just the same thing throughout the whole film.
Yeah.
And it was like, I was just, oh no, not this again.
Another game. Oh god.
Yeah, but the thing is, the sequel to Tron, they changed it, didn't they? They made it more
Very it's beautiful aesthetically.
Visual.
It's beautiful to look at. Yeah, it's very beautiful. I like the new one.
I mean, I don't know how good the film is, but it's like with like I mean, it had Jeff Bridges in the original one.
Yeah, and they brought him back for the newer one.
I think they had a Tron video game and things like that in
Oh, that's cool.
if you went to a fair somewhere or an arcade.
Yeah.
It's just strange some of the films they made back then. They were considered mainstream, but yeah, I mean, Tron visually is not as interesting as say Blade Runner. You can't say that, can you?
No, I agree. Yeah,
even though a lot of the visuals in Tron were kind of new for the time. That's like saying, the Disney film, The Black Hole, is better than Blade Runner or something.
yeah,
that's not true. It's visually maybe
that movie's has the most awesome ending of all time. The Black Hole.
The Black Hole.
Yeah, that ending in that movie goes full like dark as you can possibly be. It's amazing. Yeah, ape shit. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like for a mainstream movie back then, they could do something a bit unusual. Whereas you go and see something like the new Captain America film. I mean, I don't have anything against it, but it's got the Red Hulk in it, which makes me want to go. But on the other hand, I'd rather just sit at home and watch it. Like a lot of people probably, they're just like, oh, no.
We'll be at home in 2 weeks.
It's just Captain America again, but they've just brought in a different actor. Who cares that they're black? It's not a major
same here.
attraction or otherwise, is it? It's like going to see The Flash, and you just think, oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's DC, isn't it? Yeah. Flash was DC, yeah.
Yeah, Flash is DC, yeah.
I don't know. The Flash was probably a bit more, had something interesting about it. I don't know. This new Captain America is probably fine, but I think it's just that they don't do anything which is daring enough. It's just
like if you're into Tom Clancy, if you like Tom Clancy and like those kind of political spy, this one's like a political spy thriller in a Marvel world, so you're dealing with some superhero stuff.
Yeah. It's like they're trying to combine the Bourne Identity with Marvel or something, and then bring in the Red Hulk, which is just, it all feels a bit.
And I heard the marketing is misleading, James. Apparently, the Red Hulk it feels like it was tacked on. It has nothing to do with the story at all. It just appears at the end.
5 minutes.
Yeah, apparently the story wraps up and then he's in it.
But that's making people want to go and see the film because the Hulk is in it in some sense.
In some sense,
then he's barely in it. So Harrison Ford's in it. He gives a good performance.
Yeah.
But then that's not reason enough to go and see the film, is it? No. That's like saying, oh, well, Harrison Ford gave a good performance in The Dial of Destiny, which he did. But then the film has the various things in it that might be not ideal. I mean, like we had many debates about Dial of Destiny. I probably thought it was fine overall, but I think
it's watchable. Yeah,
it had definite sort of aspects about it that you think maybe this could have been cut out. Actually, like, can't you just keep the film under 2 hours? Why does it have to be 2 hours and a half?
I agree.
And like with Mandela Man, he liked all the CGI opening and everything, but I found it a bit
it's
too long.
And it was a different tone.
The CGI didn't look brilliant either.
No,
the whole opening is rollicking, kind of old-fashioned Indiana Jones to some extent. Then the rest of the film is just off in all sorts of directions. Just
needed more focus, like
with him going under into the subway on a horse, despite the fact that he's nearly 80. It's like, well, he's supposed to be in his 70s. I mean, I don't know. It's just the stuff, especially when they go into the water and things, it goes all a bit over the place.
Oh, absolutely.
And but mainly the stuff with the boy in it, the young character. It's like, why is he even in the film? That's my problem.
Another short round type of character.
It's very easy to just make comments about the Fleabag woman and everything. Like, she's just in it, basically.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
But the interactions between her and Harrison Ford feel a bit forced at times. That's my main issue with it.
Yeah.
Like him, I like him saying stuff like "every part of me hurts now," like, and she's like, "Can't we go on with this?" And she's supposed to be sort of lacking in
empathy,
as you would say, like some of the social niceties with Albert and stuff. But it's not intentional. She's just basically
that's kind of her personality.
She's almost like a younger Indiana Jones. But,
which is cool if they really played on that. If they really played
Yeah.
on that chemistry of like, yeah, she really is
They
a
didn't,
young.
though. They're just separate in it. They're just like, oh, she's just there along for the ride.
Yes.
But then they persist with the fact that she's acting kind of just as I want to steal everything.
Yeah. Because I don't mind passing up the torch if it's done right, if it's done like honorably.
No, but the thing with Indiana Jones was this belongs in a museum. He's not stealing it for himself.
No, he's never ever been. No, that's always been his thing. Yeah,
it's done in a benevolent way. Whereas with
she's selling on a black market, right?
Completely lacking in empathy.
Yeah, she goes to the black market and sells it to like anybody.
It's funny, but it's.
I think it works easier, more in our heads because you can see what they're going for, and you can kind of make it work in your mind.
The film was just overlong. It should have been under 2 hours, in my opinion.
Exactly.
And cut out all of the stuff that just seemed excessive, like the boy in it just randomly appearing and doing this, that, and the other.
Because that's a whole new person you got to now focus on when we could have spent more time with her character and Jones.
But I mean, Short Round should have been in it again, but they can't do that, can they? So
they could
have to do a grown-up Short Round.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
I mean, he's in movies of his own now. The actor.
Yeah, he's an Academy Award winner. He won an Academy, I think, for his
Everything Everywhere All at Once. But also he's in a lead role in a new action movie as well that came out.
Yeah, it's kind of like a love action movie. Yeah, so it's a bit of
love action.
Yeah, because he's like he's like a hitman.
Actual blockbuster category now. Love action.
Love action. Yeah, it should be.
You mean action romance? Like you don't go love action. What is this called?
I love action.
It's like me when I went to Blockbuster. It's a love action film. What?
You want some of that love action?
It's like Love Actually. No, Love Action.
Love action.
As in hot action.
Okay.
Entertainment. Blockbuster Entertainment is a family store, please.
That reminds me of the one time I went in there. I'm like, hey, can I get blow? The guy looked at me. He's like, the movie, right? I'm like, yeah.
Can I get some blow, please? Or can I get blow?
I think I know.
That's like me. That's like when people came in the shop, and I would immediately say, "Have you thought about renting dick? Or how about getting dick out?" And they're like, "Oh, for God's sake!"
That's funny.
Well, there was one time a small child was in the store, and he was going,
"Okay, cool."
I won't go into any more detail about it. And I was just like, Jesus Christ, this is not regular.
No.
Like there was a selection of martial arts films, and it was only a small shop, really, compared not a superstore. And he was doing like going,
faces and stuff. Yeah.
And I was just like, can somebody please control that child? This is just wrong.
Yeah.
On a moral level.
Mm-hmm.
I actually banned the child from the store.
Good, yeah. I put his face everywhere on a poster.
He was 5. I made a still cap of his face because I brought a camera in with me to take photos of customers.
Okay, why are you taking pictures of customers?
Attractive ones, or
come on,
or unattractive, or children doing racial stereotype. And I actually took a photo of him doing the racial stereotype. Blew the photo up to like mass poster size and put it next to a poster in the window saying, please, no racial stereotypes in here, or this child is banned. He is 5.
Yeah.
And then I would illustrate what he was doing to customers, saying he was doing this.
That's terrible. My God.
I
would actually erase that clip when you put it online.
Now,
someone's gonna freeze frame that, make it their icon.
You can't even see me properly because there's no light on my face.
You were actually shown
just on the side here.
You were clearer than you've ever been. I do not condemn or condone anything. The battery's low.
Mm-hmm. Why is this stop?
Battery. Check. Maybe after 2 hours it dies out.
Oh, here we go. It's just I don't know why these headphones do this thing where you tap them and you can get ambient noise, or tap them and then got noise cancelling. Which
how does that even?
I'm not on an airplane. I don't know why would you want noise cancelling in your own place where you live. I mean, unless someone, it's not really going to work with these size headphones anyway, or earbuds or whatever you want to call them. I mean, they're just like in the ear.
Mm-hmm.
You need, for noise cancelling, you need those big ear ones.
They cover the whole area.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, these are just good for listening to music or watching TV, so that's more than sufficient for me, because I don't like having my TV on really loud,
Yeah.
Or through a soundbar too much. Maybe if I'm watching a film, I've just got this small sound thing. It's not even really a soundbar, so. Because unless you're spending a lot of money on a soundbar, most of them aren't that good anyway. So,
yeah.
And then, what's the point of having like just loud music coming out of one soundbar like that? I don't.
No, because
for a lot of films, you really need to have surround sound, really. But,
yeah.
I mean, I know you did that once in your place, and people were like complaining five blocks down. Or, what the hell's going off down there? Well, Johnny's doing a watch along of all of the Critters films.
Yeah, it was a Critters weekend.
I mean, I don't know if I've ever even watched any of those films. Maybe Critters 1. I had a neighbour who was like, "Have you seen Critters?" No.
Have you seen Critters? It's a must see.
You always get someone, don't you? And someone else who I had to collect money not had to, but this is one of my worst jobs.
The collector.
Was collecting money from. First job was as a delivering papers. Clearly made me not want to do any work ever. But this is no, I'm not joking. I mean, and then I'd turn up at school like really tired, and then people were like, "You've got bags under your eyes and stuff. You look all dark and right." Yeah, because I had to get up at 6 a.m. to deliver loads of bloody Titbits, which is a porn magazine to people inside newspapers. I was like, and I was maybe 13 or something at 4, and then after that I did a milk money collection thing, and one guy was insistent that Omen 3 was the best film ever made, The Final Conflict. He's like, "Have you watched any good films or not? Have you seen The Final Conflict? Bits of it." You what? That's the best films ever made, okay? Have you seen Dune? That's one of the best films ever made.
Yeah.
I think he said Dune. And I was like, He says, "You like Twin Peaks? That's the same director, okay? Dune is a fantastic film."
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it is a good film.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know about Final Conflict being one of the best films ever made. That's like Omen 3. It's not. It's definitely not one of the best films ever made. Let's be honest. The first Omen, yeah, that's a good film, but the other ones not so much. With Omen, what's it called? The second one is called Omen 2 or Omen 2 the next day.
So that's the next
Damien, it's called basically. It's called
the day
Damien. Omen 2. That was made by 2 different directors. They started off with Mike Hodges, who directed, for instance, Get Carter, which is a British film, and he was like obsessed with doing shots that take ages, like coming up from a fire where someone was burning all leaves and then coming up to a shot, and then Damien's walking into like through the flames, coming down, through a garden or something. And then the police was like, "How many shots have you done today?" 1. What? You're supposed to film like the first 20 minutes of the film. You've just done 1 shot. So yeah, and then and I think he deliberately left because also Mike Hodges made the film Flash Gordon, which is actually really interesting as a film. So, have you ever watched Flash Gordon?
No, I haven't seen Flash Gordon.
You should see it. Yeah, it's interesting as a superhero film because there's this whole subliminal bit in it as well. So yeah, now we've gone to 2 hours. It's definitely time to just wrap this show up. I think.
Yes.
Because otherwise, I mean, it could go on for like 10 hours. So
yeah,
that would be like it would have to be a charity stream or something.
It would.
And at some point, we've got to try and reconnect with Mandela Man or Ben, but I don't know when that'll happen. So, I mean,
hopefully
I can't predict exactly when it will happen. But hopefully he's all right. I mean, I did have Scott on, who's never been on the show before with me, and he would do another show, but it's timing and stuff. So, if you could find anyone, if Miss Genevieve or whatever her real name is, Mrs. Genevieve wants to appear again, that would be good. I think, just as a sort of like. But what do you think? Is it feasible or?
I don't know. She still does her own thing, but yeah.
Are you actually in contact with her still?
No, just the odd time I say hi or something.
Okay. But she's still on OnlyFans, right? Because I couldn't find her. I looked on there and I tried searching for Miss Genevieve. I couldn't find anything. Is she Mistress Genevieve or Mrs. Genevieve? I can't remember. So
I can send you whatever. I have her on Instagram, and she's
okay. Maybe if you actually give me like her links, then I can subscribe to her on OnlyFans and do live OnlyFans with her.
For sure. Yeah,
I'm sure that would just go really well. I mean, it would be fine if she was just in a paddling pool. That's it's nothing explicit.
She's just in a paddling pool. Yeah.
Maybe I could be in a paddling pool as well.
Oh, you could ask. I'm sure.
I'll have to consult Kevin about this.
Yes.
He's like the unofficial producer of the show. Honestly, though, with Kevin, he just makes comments on everything on the show. Well, not everything, but he just says things like, "Oh, this was happening, wasn't it?" And I'm like, "Yes, I know. I did the show."
Yeah.
But like, it's almost like he's a producer who comes in, and you can just imagine someone like Lynch go, "What's going on?" Or Frost as well. Like, it must be quite hard, when you have people interfering in your vision and all that. It's how you end up with a film like Critters 3, The Next Level, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, The Next Level, yeah.
I don't know.
All right. Until next time, good sir.
Right now.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll end the show now. And thank you for coming on, Johnny. I appreciate it.
Yep.
It was just a casual discussion of many things, mainly Twin Peaks. So,
yes.
Thank you again for coming on.
No problem.
I hope you have a good day there or night, etc., whichever it is for you.
Yes, you too. All the best.
Thanks again, and all the best for now. Cheerio, and see you in the trees.
See you, everybody.
Thanks again for anyone still watching. I'll try and share this video around, and make sure to like, subscribe, and follow the channel, etc. The Twin Peaks Coffee Time page or group is pretty big, so I'll have to share it in there. So all the best for now, and have a good day. Bye. Thank you for watching.